Manitoba's new PC leader made his legislative debut this week and wasted no time setting a new tone for his party. Obby Khan used his first opportunity to address the House to apologize for the Tories' defiant refusal to search the landfill for the remains of 2 murder victims. And joining me now to talk more about the path forward is the new leader of the Manitoba Progressive Conservative Party, Obby Khan. Welcome and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's an absolute honor.
Let's talk about your win, because it was about as close as it can get.
Yes.
You know, given that tight vote count and the fact that you and your opponent really seem to have 2 different visions for the future of where this party needs to go, what is the challenge for you? How are you going to unite these 2 very separate camps, it seems, within the party?
First of all, I think it's very exciting to have a close race, right? And if the Jets were to win the Stanley Cup in overtime in Game 7, you're just going to remember they won the Stanley Cup, right? And that's kind of the way I view it. Yeah, I won, and now I have a lot of work to do. And that work starts by, literally that night and the next day and the day after. I've been reaching out to a lot of people in the party, building that bridge, that relationship, that conversation. It's exciting that many people signed up. Like, this is all good. I won by a little bit, but there was a lot of people that signed up. 11,000 memberships were sold, right?
How do you keep that support, though? Because a lot of those people voted for your opponent.
Yeah, so you ask them why. What are their issues? What are their concerns? How can we work together? Because we as progressive conservatives are stronger when we're together. I mean, the NDP are in power now, but if we fracture ourselves, we're not going to get back in government. So I think that's the message that's loud and clear, and they understand that. And it's what did I not have, or what was I not saying that you wanted to hear? What are some of the issues? Really extending that olive branch and having that conversation. And it's gone really well the first 2 weeks I've been elected now, and first week in the legislature.
Speaking of your first week in the legislature, you made the apology I referred to. But I think the question on a lot of people's minds is, why did you wait so long?
Yeah, I felt personally that I was going to do this when I became the leader. If I had lost election, this was something I was going to do. I felt like it had more power, it had more meaning, that the new leader of the party was to say this on his very first opportunity. It was the first thing I did as leader, and that now reflects the policy and the stance of the party, right? And that really, I felt like, put the stamp on it. And
even when your opponent, kind of echoed what interim leader Owasco said when he made the apology, you still didn't say anything then, though.
Yeah, no, I did. I had echoed that, and I said I have more to say, right? So I think it was the more to say that people were like, what more do you have to say, right? But I did echo, I did support our interim leader Wayne's apology. Maybe I wasn't as clear and as concise as I should have been or I wanted to do, but in my mind it was always, when I win, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set a new tone, new direction for the party, but recognizing our mistakes, pausing and reflecting on the harms we had done before, and rebuilding that trust with Manitobans. Now as a leader, it's clear, that's where I stand, that's the direction we're going, and we're going to continue to work that way.
Speaking about this trust, because I've heard you said it just now, I've heard you say this since becoming leader, a lot of people may think that trust was lost because of the refusal to search the landfill. Not only did your party refuse, but you put up billboards saying that it was too dangerous and had a low chance of success. How could you get it so wrong, and how do you assure Manitobans that you'll get it right in the future?
Well, I think if we were to have the information that we have now, then the decision would have been very different. But regardless of that, mistakes were made. And we have to recognize those mistakes, apologize for those mistakes. And really, like, my leadership style is very different than I think maybe even all of politics. I'm very open, I'm very transparent, let's have a conversation, let's meet, let's talk about it. My office, one of the first things we did was we reached out to the family members saying, I want to have a conversation, I want to apologize to you face to face.
Have you had a chance to talk to anyone
We haven't had a chance to talk to them yet, but we have reached out, and hopefully that will come soon. And being the leader, I have to carry that. I understand that's an immense weight to put on my shoulders, but I got big shoulders, smaller shoulders than when I played for the Bombers. But that's something that we have to do going forward. And you rebuild that trust by consistently doing what you're saying you're going to do. So now I've said it, now I have to follow it up. And there's going to be another issue, and I got to say it and follow it up and continue to do that. Very similar to bringing the party together. People say, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to reach out. Well, have you done it? Yes, I have, right? So now there's that follow-up aspect of it, and that's how we're going to rebuild the trust with Manitobans.
One of the issues you brought to light this week was Bill 43, the NDP's gender expression bill. What is your concern about it?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to be very clear that human rights, our party, and I think all Manitobans and everyone legislator, we 100% stand and believe in all human rights for everyone, regardless of anything else. Human rights are sacred to everyone. So if we understand that, we know that, okay, that's where we're coming from. The issue with the bill in itself, and the minister, we've asked dozens of times, hundreds of people came to committee to ask the minister, saying, what is the threshold for that? What is how do you know if someone's deliberate or intentional with mispronouncing or misgender, or there's a mistake made, and what does that process look like? Because right now there's nothing, right? So anybody could say anybody did that to them, and now they're in front of the Human Rights Commission for 2 to 3 years. So what is that threshold, right? If I accidentally misgender you now, does that give you the power now to file a complaint against me?
That's your concern. That's what you want clarified.
I don't know. And that's a valid question. I think Manitobans and hundreds came and spoke to that, right? Saying, what is that threshold? How do we measure that? If it's a colleague that says it, if it's an employee that says it, employer, if it's a repeat offense, how many repeats? Just what is that threshold? Because again, I want to be very clear that we are 100% in favor of protecting human rights for everyone, regardless of any factors whatsoever, whether it be gender or faith or race, regardless. So if we understand that we're coming from that common spot, then how do we make sure this bill is the best bill forward, right? Because we want to make sure it's the best legislation, and that is something that we're brought up with the minister over and over again, and we haven't had any answers, and Manitobans are really concerned about that aspect of it.
This issue has gotten some people talking about you being the face of the party's parental rights platform in the 2023 campaign. As the new leader of the PC party in this province, where do you stand on schools having to obtain parental permission for a student to change their name or pronoun?
Yeah, so I'm a father myself, 12-year-old son. Anyone that knows me knows that I love my kid more than anything. I think all parents do, really. So that whole campaign was based around parents love their kids, right? Anyone watching this at home or listening, they would say, yeah, I love my kid. And I believe I know what's best for my son. I would say if anyone else has kids, they say the same thing. So it's really about starting that conversation, about having that conversation with parents, with teachers, with stakeholders, with guidance counselors, with experts, and saying, how do we protect all kids? Because it's not just my kid, it might be that kid, it might be another kid. We don't know what issues are happening at home. We don't know if it's a gender issue, if it's a grades issue, if it's a financial issue. So how do we protect all kids? And studies show over and over again that when there's parental involvement, and I think any parent at home that's watching say, yeah, I love my kid more than anything, I want to be involved in my kid's life, that's where that conversation really started, right? And I'm learning in politics, things get lost in the media, things get lost on a billboard, you don't really know what's happening, but now I'm the leader, now I set the tone for the party, and I don't think anybody would disagree with anything I just said.
So to be clear, you do want parents to be brought into this conversation. You want them to be part of the decision.
I think that parents, teachers, counselors, experts, stakeholders, everyone should want that. Why would we want to take someone out of that picture? Right now, if that parent is not safe, or that teacher's not safe, or the neighbor's not safe, well, that's a different story. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the 99.9% of parents who are loving and caring and supportive of their children, right? I love my kid more than anything, but sometimes he's going to hate me for saying this, but if he doesn't have matching socks on in the morning, he might have a bit of, he's a kid. Right? They're kids. So why would we want to take my love for my son or your love for your child out of that conversation? If you're not a safe, that's a different story. We have other resources for that. But also the Education Act, Public Education, hasn't been updated in 30 years. So in 30 years, there's been no changes done to that. And how much has time changed from when you and I were in high school? For grade school.
No time at all for me.
Okay, well, you just graduated, but myself,
I'm joking.
You know, social media, cyberbullying, sexploitation online, you know, just social media in general, access to cell phones and information. I mean, these are scary times for kids to live in. And I believe that we should have everyone at that table for that. And it's really about having that conversation. I don't know why, you know, people are afraid of that. I don't know why people want to attack me for that, but as a leader, I own that, and I say, let's have that conversation.
Well, I appreciate you, you know, clearing the air on it. I want to talk to you now about healthcare, because it is a big issue here in Manitoba. The NDP vowed to fix it this week. They got a bit of pushback. We saw some unions rallying, saying nothing has changed. I'm curious, if you were premier, what is the first thing you would do to improve healthcare in Manitoba?
Oh, wow, that's a big question right now. The first week on the job. Look, first and foremost, the NDP and Wabkanu campaigned on, we're going to fix healthcare. We're going to fix healthcare. It's going to get fixed. It's been almost 2 years, and Darlene Jackson from Manitoba University, do you know what grade she just gave them? A D-. a D, a flat-out failure, and the Premier stood up in the House and gave his health minister an A+. So how can the Premier be so wrong with an A+ and the President of the Manitoba Nurses Union give it a D-? So there's obviously something really wrong there. Yes, we need to listen to everyone, and that dialogue's been going on for years. It happened in previous governments, happened now, but we need to have action. So our team...
Where do you start, though?
Yeah, so our team, one of the things we brought forward was Bill 227 that the NDP stopped. And that bill, I mean, I'll boil it down really quickly, but it was to remove interprovincial trade barriers. But some of those trade barriers were also nurses and doctors that are certified and allowed to practice in other provinces should be able to practice here as well. Right now, that doesn't exist. Right, so you can have like a nurse in Ontario, or there's a nurse I met that lives in Niverville who did her education in Michigan. She can practice in Ontario, but not here, and she lives in Niverville. And she can practice in Ontario. So these were some of the... I said, what's the problem here, Rob Canoe and the NDP? Why are we stopping these things? So we had a bill, and they stopped it. So that's just one example. It's not just one answer. It's not just one silver bullet, but that's one of many, right? You know, I've talked about increasing capacity in our province, right? How do we have more capacity to see more Manitobans? And when I talk about that, you know, again, unfortunately in politics is so much of this, and I'm really trying to stop. Like, I don't know if you saw the legislature this week, but the tone we set at the party and going forward was no more heckling in the House. We're going to treat ourselves like adults, right? We want to have respectful dialogue. And I say, I want to increase capacity, and the NDP attacked me for increasing capacity. I say, I want to bring doctors here from other provinces, and we're getting attacked for that. These are real solutions that the government needs to listen to that I'm hearing from Manitobans.
Well, we will see that debate play out in the weeks, months, years to come. We got a couple years before an election.
Yeah.
I know your experience is football, but
yes.
You are wearing...
Go Jets, go.
The hockey jersey tonight. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What do the Jets need to do to pull out a win tonight? And what do you think the final score is going to be?
Well, the final score is definitely going to be a win. I would say something. I'd say 3-1. I'd say 3-1 for the Jets. I think Hellebuyck's will have a great game. Look, the Jets have done it all year, right? They play hard. They're a grinding team. They're going to get physical like they are, and they're just not going to make those little mistakes. I mean, in the playoffs, every little mistake is amplified so much more. So I have all the faith in the world. The Whiteout's going to come, you know, through tonight, and we're going to win tonight. It's exciting, though. Like, it is. You see the city. I was at the street party the other day, last game, watching it with my kid, and Dad, okay, it's a little late, let's go home. But it was so much fun, right? The city comes alive, and this is what Manitoba has to offer. So go Jets, go, and then soon go Bombers, go.
Right, there you go. Perfect ending. Thank you so much for your time. This was a pleasure.
Thank you. My pleasure.